everyone. Today I thought I would talk to you guys about some tomato events I went to last year. It was only 3. I was planning to go to a 4th one. It was the Pittsburgh's Farmers Market. They have markets on Thursdays, and they had a tomato day. And one of the things that they do on their tomato days, besides for selling tomatoes, is they have people make homemade tomato pies, and then they have everybody pay like a couple bucks and you can get a sample of everyone's pie to eat. And I just thought that would be really cool, but I wasn't able to go to it this year. So it is an event I'm planning on going to. I went to last year, but it is an event I'm planning on going this year. So yes. The first one I want to talk about from last year was a market called, it was just a regular farmer's market that meets every Saturday. It was at the Sanford Farmers Market in North Carolina. They were going to do a tomato day, and they did do a tomato day. And I'm saying this in a way because, like, I don't want to disparage this market. I think if there's farmers markets in your area, definitely check them out. They're all local farmers, and it's awesome to have that local produce and to be able to give back to your community by, you know, the economy. But their tomato day was in partnership with the NC, our NC cooperative that works with different markets and stuff around the area. So they had their own little booth where they would talk to you about tomato recipes, about the different tomatoes at the market. So that was very cool. But because it's such a small market, there was only like 4 or 5 different tomatoes there. And they did give tomato samples away, which was nice. But I would say that market hasn't built itself up for like a huge tomato event. I would say it's a good market for your everyday, weekly, just going to a cute farmer's market. And this year they have an actual new market that's been built, because normally it's in like a parking lot. And this year they actually have a building that they've built specifically for this. So it might be even bigger this year. So I am not hating on this. I wouldn't go out of my way for their special days yet. I would just go there when I want to go to a market to get some fresh produce, different times of the year. Hopefully in the future when they get bigger, because they're obviously trying to, their event days would be really cool. But yeah, that was the first one. The second one I went to was the Woodleaf Tomato Festival. So it was an actual festival, and it was fun. I would say it was not for me, and it had nothing to do with them. I want to go to these events, and honestly, I want to look at tomatoes. That's what I want to go for. But this event, it was more just an actual, like, fun festival. Now, they did have a bunch of tomato-themed things. They had derby hats where everybody decorated the hats. They had to be with either a tomato hat or tomatoes all over it, that kind of theme. They had dancing a lot, and they had people dressed up as tomatoes that would dance. They also had cherry tomato eating contest. So they had it for kids and for adults. Whoever can eat the cherry tomatoes fast. That was fun to watch. I did enjoy that. They also had a booth of tomato sandwiches where you could go and get tomato sandwiches. Like you could get white bread or wheat bread and get that. So that was a nice touch. But the only thing I would put against them was that they didn't really have tomatoes. They had like one section that had like cans of tomatoes, and I'm trying to think if I even saw any fresh tomatoes. There might have been one booth, maybe, but even in my head now I'm like, I don't even think there was fresh tomatoes. But it was a very fun festival that I think you should take your kids to if you're looking for something fun to do one weekend in North Carolina. It was very sweet. It was smaller, but they even had so they had all that stuff. On top of that, they had different food vendors. They had different people selling stuff, like a little market themselves of like clothes and different stuff. Like they had a thrift area. They had one thrift area where they were like fundraising, where all the proceeds went towards helping a building. And they also had where they had like a silent auction that you could do. And they had little bouncy houses and stuff for the kids. So again, it was a very fun festival. I really enjoyed it, and they had shirts. If I go anywhere and they have shirts, for the event, I'm going to get a shirt. But I was there for tomatoes. So I really enjoyed watching a tomato eating contest. That was fun. But I don't know if it's something I would go to in the future unless I was going with a group of people. Like, I went by myself, right? So, and while it was still enjoyable, that is definitely something I would say you take like your friends and family to and just have a fun day where you're hanging out together and you're enjoying this. And it was a very good fun festival. If you want to see stuff like that, if you want to dress up as a tomato and you want to watch people eat a contest and just have a whole event where everyone's just celebrating the tomato, you should definitely go to that. And it's in Woodleaf, North Carolina. So the next one that I went to, which was my favorite event for the whole entire year, was the Carrboro Farmers Market Tomato Day. They also had shirts. I, of course, got one. But I did a short of it. It was a very short. I will put it below so you can see just all the tomatoes that were there. Because it's just a big farmer's market in Carrboro. And they gave you this pamphlet. And so what it is it shows you all the places that are selling tomatoes and where they're located. And then on top of that, they also show you what each tomato variety they have there. And I mean, just look at this list. Look at this list of tomatoes. It was my favorite thing. I brought a cooler bag and I tried to space my tomatoes out, and I got a huge haul of tomatoes. I think I showed a picture of it last year of all the tomatoes I got. Because they had just so many cool varieties, and I was having such a hard time with my tomatoes last year that to have the abundance of tomatoes spring home was just awesome. I will go back to this maybe every year. I loved it. I loved that they did this. They even had a guy explaining tomatoes. If you know about the tomato guy in North Carolina, he wasn't there, but they had his book on display, and they were talking about him and his contribution and all the cool stuff that's happening in the tomato world. Like, they were talking about it. It was such a cool event, and they were like explaining to you the different varieties of tomatoes that they had at the market, and they were cutting them up and showing it to you. And then also at that event, they had people that were making goods at their carts that featured tomatoes. I mean, it was just a huge tomato celebration of just tomatoes. It was, it's not like the festival where you had, where I said like they had moon bounces and all kinds of stuff there to entertain you. This was just going to the market, and it's tomato day. And it was awesome. I spent way too long there. I probably spent way too much money there, but I will go back. It was awesome. And that was it for my tomato events. This year, I will go back to the Carrboro one. I want to try the Pittsburgh one. And I'm also going to try to see if there's any other ones in the area. Maybe I should check out what the Raleigh Farmers Market does, because you would think they would have a tomato day, and they have a really big market. But if any of you know any tomato themed events in North Carolina that I'm missing out on, please comment below and let me know. And also, if there's like really cool events around the United States that y'all just love that are tomato based, please let me know. I would love to like have like a goal of, in the future, I want to go to this event, because I'm sure there's a lot of people on here that just freak out about tomatoes, but there's just so many cool tomatoes. And when I think of summer now, the thing I think of is a tomato sandwich. I can't. So that's what I did last year, and I hope that this year I will also enjoy all the tomato events as well. But please, yes, comment below if there's any cool events that I should check out as well. And even not tomatoes, maybe there's another vegetable that's like, why haven't you checked out this event? This is, you should go to this fruit festival, this vegetable thing. I think that'd be really cool actually to see. I actually think I really enjoy just looking at different events celebrating produce. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and happy gardening, I guess. Bye.